13 of Griddyiron Gang. What we got for you today is a Week 4 review and a Week 5 preview. And I'm not even going to fumble over my words. Let's get right into it. Thursday night football. We had the Miami Dolphins on the road in Cincinnati, taking the L 15-27. But that really wasn't the story coming away from this game. Tua left the game with an apparent head injury, and it was a scary sight to see. Everybody's been talking about it, but we're going to give our 2 cents too. What you think about that injury? Or the handling of the whole situation?
Yeah, I don't think he should have been playing the whole time.
Yeah.
I mean, there's something going on in the NFL where the protocol for the head injuries or concussions, it's not working. I mean, you see these guys take a beating every week. I mean, a lot of guys don't even come out of the game even though they should. I mean, the way they get hit and everything. Yeah, I feel bad for Tua because I don't think he should have been playing. And, I mean, if it's up to the player, you're obviously going to try to play. So I think you got to have someone within your staff, I mean, do what's best for these players. And that's ultimately going to come down to you saying, hey, no, you're out. You can't play right now. And for them to let him go, I mean, I think there was some doctor who saw the video the week prior and was like, if they shouldn't be letting him play the next week. You know, he could get, like, seriously hurt. I mean, even killed damn near. So it's a tough situation when it comes to head injuries. I mean, you look at all these guys after their careers down the road and, you know, some are, you know, kind of suicidal because of the CTE stuff going on, and, you know, some are even ending up on the streets homeless because, you know, they're just not there mentally anymore. And that's for me, I mean, this game is violent as hell, and to see that and these players go through that, it's tough. And I know that, you know, this was the first year in training camp. I think that the team started wearing those guardian caps on their helmets or whatever, the little, the goofy looking things.
Little mushroom looking joints.
But yeah, I mean, things like that obviously go a long way to help them with how long the season is. But yeah, with Tua, I wish him nothing but, you know, the best in the recovery process, and hopefully it's, you know, he can get through that. I don't want them to rush him back though, by any means, because we want these guys to be at you know, their healthiest selves. And so, you know, it's at the end of the day, it's still a game of football. I mean, we're fans, like, we want our teams to do well, but we know injuries happen, and we just wish nothing but the best for these guys who go through those injuries. And so, nothing but the best for him. Obviously, it puts a dent in the Dolphins' plans going forward, because I don't think, you know, I like Teddy, but I think Tua was doing some good things with that squad right now, where it kind of puts them a step behind almost, in my perspective.
Yeah, for sure. Teddy's a solid quarterback, but he's a backup quarterback. Tua, I mean, people have their questions about him, but he was playing well. Playing like a top 10 quarterback so far. We definitely wish him a speedy recovery. He is ruled out this week against the Jets, so we know for sure he won't be playing. We won't be seeing him Sunday. But back to the football side of it, you know, Dolphins take their first loss of the season. They're at 3-1 now. Bengals get back to 500. Big win for them. We thought it was a must-win when we talked last week.
Yep.
What you think about the game?
I mean, I think the Bengals played as well as they could against the Dolphins. I mean, I think ultimately, the ship kind of sank once Tua went out of the game, because that's their leader. That's, you know, who's distributing the ball to Tyreek and Jalen. And so it's that obviously it hurts your team from a, you know, it takes you out of rhythm. Like, it's a heart sinker, because it's just like you go from one guy you're working with 24/7 in practice and getting the game plan down, and then you have your backup quarterback come in mid-game, and you might not have the rapport that you do with Tua. That, you know, Teddy, he's not known for a long ball. He's got some accuracy stuff going on, but I don't know. And I'm not sitting here saying I'm like a huge Tua believer, but I do think, like, he's proven me wrong in a lot of ways to start the season, because I didn't have, you know, that expectation of him for what he was doing. But the Bengals, like we said, it was a must win. I think they're still a team that can make a Super Bowl run if everything comes together, and that O-line played 10 times better than what they were showing previous games. So when things start to get, it's 4 weeks into the season, I think the Bengals have what it takes to probably get back to the Super Bowl if everything's clicking along the O-line. Burrow not getting sacked as much or hit too often. So, but this is a game, I still believe that the Bengals are the better team than the Dolphins. They proved that Thursday night. And I'm still, even with Tua being, if he was healthy going forward, I'm still quite not sold on the Dolphins just yet, just because it's so early yet and a lot of things can happen. But there's something about Tua that I'm just not totally sold on yet. He's still got a little bit more to win me over.
Fair enough. Moving on, we had your Vikings across the pond facing the New Orleans Saints. The double doinker gets you the win as Dalton takes over at quarterback for Jameis Winston. 28-25. What'd you think about this one?
Ugly, man. It's just, we're an ugly 3-1 right now. But
That's the name of the game.
Hey, yeah, I'll take an ugly win over a pretty loss. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like last year, like between the Lions game and this game against New Orleans, these are two games where last year we probably lose these games. I don't know what to credit it to. I don't know, what to say about it, but
It's Kirk. 2 game-winning drives in a row.
Yeah, but you think you pretty much got the same team as last year. So you think about it in a way where I just think that going off of what we went through last year, we kind of have a little bit more of the mental toughness on our side this year. Not saying that's a huge deal in every game, but you get these close games and I don't know. It's just so frustrating. I don't have much to say about it because it's just like we have such a talented team, but the defense is letting us down. They make some big plays, but they've been letting us down majority of the time. Offense is so sporadic. It's like I don't know what I'm going to get. And, there's obviously you had a couple key drops from JJ, which is uncharacteristic, but especially the one in the end zone, even though it was thrown behind him. Kirk, he just, like I told you before this, he seems to be that one-read quarterback. It's just he looks for that. He knows what he's going to look for before this ball snapped. If it's not there, it's like a chicken with his head cut off, not knowing what to do with the ball. He's shown before that he can read the field very well, but something about this year is just it seems like he's just always wanting to look for JJ every single time. And what I'm just trying to, understand is like when you still got Adam, who's, in the twilight of his career, but he's still got juice left. You got KJ, who's still an up-and-coming good receiver. You got Irv, who's been very shaky this year, but still capable of making plays. And then you got your talented running backs who can make plays out of the backfield. So it's just like, I'd like to see us spread the ball around more. And that's not on O'Connell, that's on Kirk. He's got to go out there and do that. So,
is it? Because he comes from the Rams, and what do?
Right, I get...
Throw the cup 80%.
I know O'Connell wants to get the ball to Jefferson. I know JJ wants the ball. O'Connell wants to make sure that he's feeding JJ and keeping him happy. But at the end of the day, we're trying to win ball games. If you're getting into a game and that strategy is not working, is what I'm saying is you gotta rely on the other guys. And so, and we've seen throughout these 4 games, like KJ and Adam do come up with some big plays. Mm-hmm. They're not sexy or anything, but they're big and they move the chains. So for me, it's just I want to get more into a rhythm, spread the ball around. Our special teams have been playing really well, but with the defense, it's just I still don't understand the whole soft coverage deal and damn near playing prevent defense. I don't understand that and. maybe someone can educate me on it, but I don't understand what the hell we're doing on defense. Like, we're trying to rely on our front four to get pressure on the quarterback. It's not working. Za'Darius and Daniil aren't living up to their paydays. So, in that sense, I need to see more creativeness in, either sending Harrison down and blitzing, or sending Hicks or Kendricks or whatever the case may be. We need at least one or two extra guys coming off and rushing the passer to get stuff, looking better on the back end. So with that, I still think the schedule's very favorable for us. There's stuff we can learn from, but it's just, we got to go out there every Sunday and aim to win and not just squeak by with a win. We can't go out there looking for field goals. That's not how you win football games. And that's the sense I got Sunday against the Saints, is we were just satisfied with getting field goal range, kicking the field goal, and calling it a day. Mm-hmm. That you got to score. Your goal should be to score a touchdown every time you get the ball. That's just a given, but it was a frustrating game. I don't know. And the fact that you got the Saints without 5 of their top guys, that's worrisome.
Thomas, Kamara, you would expect a blowout in that situation.
I told you, I texted you, I said at least 2 touchdowns. Mm-hmm. At least 2 touchdowns we got to win this game by.
I'm going back to sleep. I'm not even watching that.
And it turned out to be a freaking nail biter. Mm-hmm. And you can't, those games are fun to watch, but when you know that you're clearly the better team that day, especially with the injuries that have happened, mainly to the Saints, you got to go out there and be like, okay, we're putting our foot on your throat and we're showing why we're the better team, and we're beating you down. We're not just going to come out here and squeak by with a 3-point win. It's freaking, this is the Vikings way, man. This has always been us every single year I've been born. Like, this is what I've come to expect. Like, I think one thing, 2 touchdowns, win by 2 touchdowns today, and you win by 3. And all I can take away from this is I'm so happy that 61-yard field goal double doinked and didn't go in, because we would have lost in overtime probably. I can guarantee it.
That's losing all the momentum right there.
He made a 60-yarder. He had plenty late with the 61-yarder.
He did.
So, and I just don't. I didn't have.
And you speak of the Vikings way. How many times have you lost on a field goal that you've missed and to lose on, or get sent into overtime with a 60?
More times than I can count, bro. Like,
sweet irony.
So it's like, but when you are early in the season and winning these types of games, that better do something for your moxie or whatever, because there's going to be harder games, obviously. And if they want to get to, my predicted 12-5, 11-6 record, like, there's games you have to go out there and win by freaking 2 touchdowns. You can't just win every game with these last-second field goal misses or field goal makes. Like, this is...
The better teams won't let you do that.
No. And then the games we get to when we go to Buffalo, like, come on, bro. Like, we're gonna lose by 3 touchdowns. Like, so for me, it's just the Vikings, man. They're the Vikings. Like, I love them to death, but damn, they take years off my life watching their games. It's so frustrating, because every year. I won't even say every year, because I am practical with it, where if we have a bad roster, I'll tell you. But these past few years since we went to the NFC Championship, we have had consistently good rosters. It's just we don't go out there and do anything about it. Like, I agree. We're stuck in cement damn near. It's like, do these guys just not show up to play, or is the coaches not game planning the right way? I don't have an answer, and that's the frustrating part. Like, I can't sit there and watch the game and be like, hey, this is very correctable, or a lot of things are, but a lot of things I think are more. It's almost like a damn curse, where it's just we can't get out of our own way. We're our own worst enemy, and that is the fucking truth about the Vikings.
Well, you mentioned the Viking way. The Raven way is something we have not seen this year, man. Blowing another lead, up 20-3, and they end up losing the game 23-20. No points scored in the second half. And same old. Not able to run the ball, not playing good defense, and that's just something we're not used to seeing up there in the Northeast from this Baltimore team. Hurt to watch. You gotta feel good when the game starts. You get a pick off Josh Allen early, good return, easy touchdown, 7-0, and you pretty much are in control for the whole first half. But I mean, it was an MVP battle, and Josh Allen might have took the edge with this one. Had a big second half, ran for every first down he needed to, threw for every first down he needed to. Ended up pulling it out, putting the team in a position at the end. Game-winning field goal. Like I said, 23-20, and that's all she wrote.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. See, here's the thing is, like, if it was the Vikings to go up 20-3 and lose that one, we would never live it down. Because we're the Vikings, you know? But with you guys, it's you're the Ravens, so you guys had Super Bowl win.
You gotta earn that, man.
Like,
it's the Rodgers effect. you gotta earn that shit.
Oh man, but yeah, I mean, you guys could easily be 4-0. I mean, Miami and Buffalo, 2 big leads blown. What do you credit that to? Just defense not living up to their expectations, or?
In the first game, it was a lot of blown coverages. The offense did more than enough. Second game, it was a little bit of both. Defense, I mean, they did what they could. I mean, holding Josh Allen at 23, that's pretty respectable. Offense, you got to score something in the second half.
Yeah.
People are going to question that decision on the goal line on 4th and 2.
Yeah.
Or 4th and goal from the 2, whatever you want to call it. I don't know. I think in that position you should take the field goal, even though in past circumstances I'm more than okay with them going for it on most 4th downs.
What yard line were you guys on?
I think we're on the 2.
Okay.
I think 2 or 3, something like that.
Yeah, and I like the aggressive approach to it, but
me too.
You got to know who you're playing.
And that you haven't scored in the second half.
Right. You got to know, like,
5 minutes left in the 4th quarter, tie game.
And that's the thing, you know. If you take the points there,
but that's the thing too, the Aaron Rodgers effect we're talking about. Like John Harbaugh doesn't get double guessed.
Right.
Dan Campbell, we're like, young coach, why is he doing shit like that?
Because I mean, you think about it, like if you do convert that 4th and goal, probably win that game. And Harbaugh's a genius that day.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, yeah, I think you guys should have won. I also think that it says that, like you told me, that Buffalo's, one-dimensional right now, and they don't have a running game, which that's why they always seem to falter in the playoffs. Because playoff ball is a lot different than regular season. Mm-hmm. You're prepping a lot harder. You're in the playbook a lot more. And it's a 1-game season each week, so you're laying it all out there. And I think when it comes to like the past couple of times with the Chiefs don't have necessarily the greatest running game, but Andy Reid incorporates it a lot more than what Buffalo's doing, and that keeps people honest. Defense is honest, and with Buffalo, it's you damn near just gotta pretty much play the pass, keep a spy on Josh Allen so he doesn't take off. And that's pretty much the key right now to beating them, because if you have solid coverage on them, especially mainly Diggs, and you don't have to worry about their run game a whole lot, because they don't. Number one, they don't have the backs who are every down backs. Mm-hmm. Number two, it's damn near Josh Allen leading the way rushing every game. Mm-hmm. So I'm playing coverage. That's the type of defense I think that might succeed against them, is the Vikings defense.
Why, though? Because I think Miami succeeded because, like you were saying, play the pass, who cares about the run? Athletic linebackers that can spy, 2 corners that are really good, right? Mm-hmm. Baltimore has 2 good corners, and we did what we could for the most part. We weren't spying shit in the second half, and if we were, we just weren't good enough because he was just beating us. Are your corners good enough to shut down Gabriel and Diggs, or at least make it difficult? I
was just talking about the type of. I'm not saying anything about specifics player-wise on our defense. I was just saying the type of defense we're running right now is what I would expect you to run against a team like Buffalo, where because I mean, I'm cool with Hicks or Kendrick spying on Allen. I'm comfortable with trying to let our front four get to Josh Allen. And yeah, we'll play the 2 high safety, and we're gonna have to count. I mean, obviously, you're gonna have to probably count more for Diggs than Gabriel Davis, but whoever's on Davis better bring their A game because he's a solid receiver. Mm-hmm. So it's just that's what I'm talking about. Is you just gotta show up to these. You gotta show up and try to ball out every game. It's some of these guys seem to take plays off when they shouldn't, and that's a frustrating aspect of watching NFL football because I feel like I see a lot of these guys just take these plays off, and whether it be on offense, they know the ball's not coming to them. Whether it be on defense, they're just out there fluffing it. I don't know, but it's they are getting paid a lot of money to play a game. I mean, some guys don't have that work ethic. They go off of their given talent, and I don't know. But at the same time, I will say, with the Buffalo and Ravens game, those are two teams that should be in the thick of the playoffs when it comes down to it. And you guys, I wouldn't be surprised if you guys see each other again.
Me either. AFC is wide open. We talked about this a little before too, but especially in the AFC, you got when it comes down to the playoffs, you're playing outside.
Yeah.
So you're gonna have to be able to run the ball. I mean, J.K. Dobbins looked decent in that first half. He'll probably get his legs under him the more the season goes along, but that's a concern of mine if I'm a Buffalo fan. We don't run the ball, and I know our coach said we incorporate that in the pass game with short passes and screens and whatnot, but it's not the same. Yeah. You're still putting 60 throws on Josh Allen's arm every week.
Yeah, bro.
He's dropping back too many times, too many chances for injury or bad things to happen. So, and he's not the most accurate guy. He's not the most, he doesn't make the best decision. He throws it to the defense more than people realize. So that could be a detriment to this team as well.
Yeah, and I think, I also noticed in that game against you guys, you guys were kind of getting into Josh's head a little bit, and he was getting flustered a lot during that game. I mean, he's a guy who I feel like, he goes out there and he expects to make a play every single play. When things start not going his way after a while, he's on the ground. After a hit, he's on the ground looking at the refs like, where's the flag? Like, that's the type of...
I don't like that.
No, that's the type of bitch shit that, is like... He just doesn't got that mental makeup where... I don't know. I just feel like Buffalo is really heavily reliant on their talent, which they do have a lot of. But they don't have a lot of those nitty-gritty guys that what's the word I'm looking for?
Not sure.
They don't have a lot of those guys that... Diggs is the dog of that team, I feel like. He's got that dog mentality. He's like the one guy on that team who has that dog mentality. I don't see that in Josh Allen as a quarterback, as a leader. I don't see that from, Devin Singletary. You got, who was it? Tre'Davious White.
You talking both sides of the ball?
Yeah. I feel like they
got even Vaughn or Ed Oliver?
Vaughn, I'm not going to say Ed Oliver just yet, but...
You're saying these guys aren't what? Leaders or dogs?
Just dogs, yeah.
Shit, these guys are great players, though. Shit.
They're great players. What I'm saying is they've been into, was the past 2 AFC championships, or one was divisional, one was AFC championship. Against the Chiefs.
I understand. 13 seconds, though?
Hey, they could have won that game last year. I think it comes down to the coin toss, obviously. Because Mahomes got that ball and never gave it back. But, for me, it's just Buffalo's that team where it's all there on paper, but at the end of the day, you got to go out and win that goddamn ring. Like,
I have my questions about them, but I still think
they're the number 1 team.
2.
I still think they're the number 1 team in the league, hands down, just talent-wise. But what I'm saying...
Debatable for sure.
But is Sean McDermott... that coach that can lead him to the promised land, he has some questionable calls, on his own that
He's been getting better every year.
he has. Since the first year he took over, I mean, they've gotten better steadily.
So this was your coach of the year, your MVP, and your number one.
Yeah, and I have questions. Just the way these first 4 games have gone. I mean, they've lost to Miami. They should have lost to you. So I mean, I'm looking at a team that should be 2-2 right now.
Mm-hmm.
So, not saying 2-2 is a bad record to start off with, because you can still make that be a 13-4 record. But at the end of the day, it's like, I mean, football is a long ass season. I mean, you got 6 days between games. That one game each week, Sunday or Monday or Thursday. I mean, these should be 1-game seasons for every team, like, because you want to have the best record possible. Obviously, it's tough with fucking injuries happening, and
that's why you want to have the best record.
Yeah, injuries happening. I mean, and we're starting to see these pile up more and more each week now. These injuries that are coming out, and that's why NFL is always a funny league, because you're gonna have, like, just for example, like, we got these 1-3 teams right now. Some of them could be 4-0. Some of them could be 2. I mean, so. When we predicted Buffalo to be 15-2, I think it was a fair prediction when we look at it on paper, because you're looking at this team and you're like, who can beat them? They brought key pieces over for the defense, like, they should be. And then the way they started off against the Rams, blowing them out, like, shoot, like, this team is for real. But I think we already knew they were for real, but I mean, like, this year is supposed to be the year. Mm-hmm. So for me, it's like, now that they're 3-1, but should be 2-2 if you look at it, being down 20-3.
Right.
I don't know their whole schedule the way it shakes out the rest of the way, but like I said, it's fun. NFL is funny that way, because you get these bad teams that every week someone's saying, "Oh, this team can't win," but then they end up winning. they end up winning.
I'm not cutting that.
They end up winning, and that's why the NFL is so hard to pick. My picks have sucked so far throughout these 4 weeks, and I don't have a good read on this season right now, and it's frustrating.
My picks probably aren't much better, and they play Pittsburgh next week. Not to jump too far ahead, but they should be able to bounce back pretty easily that game, but in the same sentence.
But you got to look at it. Kenny Pickett's first game,
he's just going to go out there and let it go. He already threw 3 picks last week. Buffalo might be underestimated.
Hey,
you know what I'm saying? So,
yeah.
NFL, you never know. That's why this game is fun.
It is, and it's just, like this week-to-week stuff, and then obviously making these picks, and it's, man, I got to change up my strategy.
Cleveland at Atlanta took the loss 20-23. Quarterback struggled in this game, but 379 total yards of rush offense between the two teams. Mm-hmm. Both teams now 2-2. I mean, Mariota, like we said, didn't have a good game, but the rushing attack pretty much did this one for Atlanta. Do you think, mentioning Kenny Pickett just slightly in that last game, do you think we're going to see Desmond Ridder anytime soon for this Atlanta team, or given that they're 2-2? They're in playoff contention right now.
Yeah.
Probably doing better than most teams expect. You think Mariota's going to stay in there, even though...
I think you have to keep him in there for right now.
Kyle Pitts is not getting the ball.
No, and then you look at it, Cordero's out for at least 4 games.
Yeah, I was going to mention that too.
So that's a big hurt for that team. I don't know. I think depending on how you ride out these next few games without Cordero and how you fare in those 4 games... You're either looking at Mariota keeping that quarterback, or you are looking. I think you do have to give Ridder a look, because if it gets to a point where it's a lost season, you got to get him experience.
Yeah, you do.
So, I mean, I don't know when to predict that happening, but I think as of right now, being 2-2, Mariota, he hasn't done a whole lot to lose the starting job.
No.
So, I think you got to ride with give him the keys still and let it ride.
I agree. Brissett didn't have a great game after playing very well in week 3 and pretty good in week 2, outside of that interception at the end of the game. So pretty much comes back down to earth and has a game we kind of expect from him. You know, he's not Geno Smith or anything.
Right.
He's not going to have great games every week. But Cleveland definitely feels like they should have won this game. Probably should be one of those teams in the 4-0 conversation with the big loss to the Jets. And then this loss to Atlanta. Two teams that they're better than on paper.
Yeah.
Two teams that they're better than on the field, I believe. But Atlanta, like we talk about every week, this offense is interesting. Losing Cordell Patterson is gonna throw a wrench in things, but they definitely have a few weapons that can still get the job done and make this team very interesting going forward.
I like Drake London a lot.
Yeah.
I think he was a great pick for them. But
you gotta use Kyle.
I don't understand at all. What are you doing? Like, he could be a number one receiver damn near.
He's not even out there as much as the backup tight end.
That's the frustrating part. But I mean, I don't know. I don't have an answer for that. Don't know how to speculate on it.
There's really nothing to say.
For me though, on the Browns side of things, like, it's a scary thought to think if the Browns, are somehow still in the playoff race when Deshaun comes back.
They will be.
That's kind of, I mean, that's...
Like I said, they got the formula to be a playoff team, not a championship team.
Yeah.
Run game and defense.
I just think it would be all sorts of funny if, they make the playoffs, Deshaun's playing, and they're starting to rip off wins left and right.
I don't think that's going to be funny, because I think we play them twice.
That's why it's going to be funny. No, but, I mean, Brissett, he's going to have his games where he just falters, and, but he's usually one of those quarterbacks who's even keeled. He's very even keeled. He doesn't make too many mistakes. When he does, it hurts you.
They're huge.
But when he's on, he's leading you down for scoring drives, whether it be field goal or touchdown. So I mean, I like what they have going in Cleveland right now, especially with Jacoby leading the way. I think it says something to him, his abilities and his character. Because everywhere he's gone, he's obviously been a backup that's been thrown into the fire for starting for a lengthy amount of time. So, I mean, you can almost look at him as, he is a viable starting quarterback in the league. So, I just think it'll be interesting once we get to that end of Deshaun's suspension, where they're at. And, I mean, who knows how well Jacoby's played all year long. Does he deserve that? I mean, that's the shitty part, is when you get there, they're going to throw Deshaun in there because they're paying him so much money. But if I'm Jacoby, like, goddamn, I did all this work throughout the season, and you're gonna just put me on the bench, like.
Deshaun's not making money this year, and while he's suspended, he can't practice with the team. So
yeah,
when he gets back, who knows if he'll play that first week?
Yeah, I mean, who knows if he'll even play this year? I mean,
yeah,
they might want to just start fresh next year, which I would, I'd be fine with, as a fan, because let's just ride this out. If we're at a point where
we're 7-4 when he comes back.
I hate my it's like a punch to the gut for me even when I think about that, like, how you gonna do Jacoby Brissett that dirty like that at the end of the year. Like, this man worked his tail off just to get us here, and we're just gonna shoo him away like he was nothing. Like, that's gotta be the worst feeling in the world.
It's part of the game.
It is.
It sucks.
It is, but I mean, you build the rapport and the chemistry with your guys, and just Deshaun walks in and is like, okay.
Yeah, it's my shit now. But
I mean, we know he's the more talented player, but at the end of the day, shit.
If you get out there 3 games above 500.
Because like you said, they're not a championship team. Why not just ride Jacoby to the end, till the wheels fall off?
Oh, they are a championship team if they have Deshaun.
Well, that was what I was getting to, is if they, if they're at, what is his suspension on?
Week 11.
Okay, so
I think after week 11.
So if they're, like you said, 7-4.
Depending on the bye, yeah, I don't know their schedule like that.
Well,
around there. That's just
around there.
Yeah.
And Deshaun comes back, he's starting again. That's what I mean. That's a scary sight, because they're gonna be that dark horse in the playoffs on the AFC side. Granted, how rusty is he? is the timing off between him and Amari and the other guys? I don't know. So that's just where I'm at with things. But they're a team that's very intriguing.
At the very least, for sure. Rounding out the AFC North, we got the Jets on the road at Pittsburgh. Zach Wilson makes his debut. Trubisky gets pulled. Kenny Pickett makes his debut.
Mm-hmm.
While quarterbacks struggle a little bit. Jets end up getting the win, 24-20. Nobody in the AFC North could score above 20 on Sunday, I guess. I don't know, something in the air out there. But anyway, Jets win this game. Both teams now 2-2. And Pickett gets the nod going forward for Pittsburgh. I know this is what you've been calling for. Hey. Tomlin, you're a fucking liar.
That's what coaches do.
They always do this shit, man. We know what it is. We see Trubisky out there. We're not dumb.
That's what I'm talking about, the eye test, bro.
Don't insult me like that. Let that man play. I just wish his number was 6. Pick 6, it would have been perfect, but...
Pickett,
the floor is yours. It's your man.
He threw 3 picks, but I would say 2 of them weren't on him. But he night and day looked, 10 times better than Trubisky out there. The way he was handling the offense, leading them, you felt like they had a chance to go down and score each time they had the ball with him. With Trubisky, it was like trying to run in wet cement. They just couldn't get anything going. I don't know what it is. I think, I was too low on Pickett coming in, going into the draft. Granted, I didn't, watch much of him through college or anything, but I think he's got that moxie about him where he's got that leadership quality where guys are gonna want to play for him and catch passes from him. So I think it's a good sign moving forward. Not saying it's gonna be too successful this year, but because they do got a daunting stretch coming up. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, I think it was the right move. You can't ride the whole year with Trubisky as your quarterback. He's had plenty of chances in this league to show what he's capable of. Nothing's changed. He's strictly a backup quarterback.
You think Tomlin's going to reach 500 this year?
I don't know.
Damn.
I don't know. That's a tough one.
No TJ and a rookie quarterback.
I think what was the stat? They're 1-7 without TJ Watt.
Really? Wow.
So
you can see it though. You saw it in that first game.
He's a huge piece in that team. He's the heart and soul of that team. So I especially that defense. It's
him and Minka are a crazy combination.
It's gonna be tough sledding for that team going forward, especially without TJ Watt. But the Jet side of things. They play hard for their coach. They go out there and they play their tail off. Zach Wilson, he's gonna get better. I don't think he's gonna be an elite quarterback by any means, but
50%, 250 yards, touchdown, 2 picks. So
it could be worse, could be better.
Yeah.
So I think the more they add to that team and add pieces and start to build it off of it, they will get better and be a better team in this league. And I would feel confident still keeping Zach Wilson as my quarterback. He's athletic enough. He can take off and run. Sure, accuracy can be worked on still, but I do like their defensive playmakers they have. I think better days are ahead for the Jets. Mm-hmm. Is kind of what I'm saying. So. Congrats to them for beating Pittsburgh. Tomlin's a hard coach to beat.
That's a fact.
So, congrats to Robert Saleh and the Jets, but I think I did get that one wrong.
Oh, yeah, me too. Next game, Chargers at Houston. They go up big early. Houston rallies back, but can't quite pull it out. I think it was 34-24 the score of this one. Herbert looked a little better, but still not that top 5-6 quarterback we're used to seeing over the first 2 years.
Right.
Houston, like you said, going to be in a lot of these games, but looking like they might end up with about 1 or 2 wins on the season. They just don't have quite enough. They do have some good pieces. Your running back out of Florida is pretty good. He broke off a big 75-yarder. The defense is questionable. Giving up 34 points is not encouraging. Davis Mills, probably not the answer going forward, even though he had a solid rookie year, given the circumstances. Now, understanding they have some weapons out and whatnot, we obviously going to give them the benefit of the doubt. But Chargers doing what we expected them to do, winning this game by double digits, getting back on track even with all their injuries. What did you think about this one?
For me, it's, I think Dameon Pierce is going to be like one of the next big running backs in this league. That's the lone bright spot on that team right now. But I do think Stingley is a huge part of that defense. Sure. He's been playing very well. There's like I said about the Jets, same with the Houston Texans. There's brighter days ahead for them. They just, Davis Mills probably not the answer, but this one, I mean, I'm more looking at like, why are the Chargers giving up 24 points to the Houston Texans? Like,
that's concerning.
That defense is supposed to be rock solid this year.
I know Joey Bosa's out with the groin, and JC's dealing with.
He still got Khalil. I mean,
for sure.
So they had one of the more loaded defenses coming into this year on paper. So for me, that I don't know that I'm kind of is it kind of on this coach Staley?
Staley, he doesn't.
I don't know if he does it for me.
It's a little questionable. Yeah. If it wasn't for Herbert, he'd be talked about a lot more.
He would be, and I think and I think he's a defensive-minded coach. So, what's going on with your defense here? That's just the takeaway I get from this game, because they really haven't looked anything special these 4 games.
You could argue 1 and 3 for them.
Yeah, but I think I'm seeing a lot more of what I saw last year from them, which is not a good sign. So I don't have the utmost confidence in the Chargers right now going forward.
Just given how they look, and then coupling that with the injuries they have, offensive linemen, Joey Bosa, J.C. Jackson, Keenan Allen. Yeah, definitely not what we expected so far from this team.
You think about it, they got a lot of, I'm not going to say a lot, but, Keenan Allen, he's a huge part in that offense, but he's also getting older, and he has been injury prone. Mike Williams got to step it up, bro. Like, I get that's, but also, where's Austin Eckler been? Like,
3 touchdowns last game, but that was pretty much all he's done all season.
Well, and it was against the Texans.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is,
not a lot
prior than that, like you weren't. Think he's definitely averaging a lot lower yards per catch and yards per carry than he has in the past. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. This team gives me, it's pretty iffy for me with the Chargers right now. Until they can show me a little more and be more consistent, this was a team in the AFC that I was very high on, like, to possibly get to the Super Bowl, but at least the AFC Championship against the Bills. But I'm not seeing that right now.
You know what we did when we predicted our records is it didn't account for the coaches.
Yeah.
And we mentioned it. I mean, he has a lot of clock management issues, a lot of play calling issues. I mean, the defense, like you said, is a defensive guy, and the defense really hasn't looked good since he's been there. Yeah. Even with the names they have. I mean, we understand Derwin's been, in and out of the lineup.
Yeah.
But even with Bosa and some of those guys, Melvin Ingram they had prior to that, and they just haven't really been that productive. Missed the playoffs last year.
And I think it's a huge thing, especially in the NFL, when you're a coach, like, and you're game planning and you're scheming things up, like, it says a lot when you like these type of players aren't working well with your scheme or your game plans. Like, scheming in the NFL is a big thing because these coaches this is their job. I mean, they sleep at the office. Like,
I don't believe in this team, man, because when Herbert had that injury and they were down big against Jacksonville, he went back into the game. And the coach was asked about it. He said, because he didn't want to let his guys down. So I'll let him back in the game. Down 4 touchdowns with 4 minutes left. Sit your quarterback. You make the decision. Like we said earlier, players are never going to want to come out the game.
Right.
Especially in football. Like, you come out the game, you're a fucking bitch, bro. That's how you feel all 52 are looking at you.
Yeah.
Especially your coaches, too.
Yep.
So we're not coming out the game. You're going to have to make that call. And even though I want to come out the game, when you make that call, I'm slamming my helmet. I'm going to show that I'm frustrated. These guys are going to see that I'm frustrated. But deep down inside,
I'm going to make you own that. Yeah.
I want to be out the game.
Yeah. I don't know. There ain't much else to say about the Chargers. They're not doing it for me right now.
Nope. And it's good for us. Jacksonville at Philly. went up early, 14-0. Got a pick six off Jalen Hurts. And it looked like Superman has found his kryptonite. But 29 unanswered points for the Eagles, winning the game 29-21. And I don't know, we'll talk about it a little later. Might be looking a little Patriot-ish.
For the Eagles?
Yeah.
Like this year's Patriots?
No, like a little 07 Patriots. Like a little 16-0, 17-0.
Oh. Yeah, I know. I've been saying for a couple weeks now that I think they're the real deal, but...
Not really a weakness. They did lose an offensive lineman. I don't know the significance of the injury quite yet.
They're strong across the board.
They're strong across the board.
Like, I mean, there ain't much else. Like, you can't really say much about them besides give them credit because they're just balling out right now on both sides of the ball. Special teams, too. I mean, but I will say this game showed me a lot from Jacksonville. I think Doug Peters is doing a really great job with that team. I mean...
I do think Jacksonville should have won this game. Trevor Lawrence probably played his worst game in quite a while.
Yeah.
A lot of turnovers, a lot of fumbles. You can blame it on the weather conditions, but your AFC team, something you got to get used to. You're going to play in weather like that in the playoffs. So I agree with you, though. Doug P, he's got this team on the up and up for real.
Yeah. They're going to be exciting to watch going forward.
Yeah. Philly, I mean... I'm not going to do like we did Buffalo, say there's not a lot to say, and then we talk about Buffalo should be 2-2 right now, because anything can happen, like we said. Darius Slay, I think, left the game with an injury, but I don't think that was that serious. But they can do it any way. If Jalen Hurts wants to throw it, he can throw it. If they want to run for 200, they can run for 200. Devontae Smith only had, 17 yards? But A.J. Brown made some big catches. They have a good tight end. I think they have over 400 yards in every game this year. And there's really not a lot of teams that can match up with them.
And that's what I'm saying. You know, with the Eagles, like what they've been showing is like on a game-to-game basis, if one or two guys are lacking, we got other guys who are going to pick it up. Mm-hmm. And that's what I'm trying to talk about with the Vikings is like, that's what we got to be capable of doing.
You got Jalen Reagor, he'll bring the culture over.
Man, shoot. Come on.
Is he a champion?
Man.
Or was that afterwards? No, that had to be afterwards. That was Diggs.
That was afterwards,
yeah.
But the Eagles, they just don't have a weakness right now. They, like you said, I mean, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, pick your poison. Jalen Hurts looks like he's stepping up to the plate and you know, progressing and getting better each week. That's a scary sight because that dude has all the talent in the world.
Yeah.
And then all you have to do, I mean, then you got a very good, well-rounded backfield with, you know, Sanders, Gainwell, Scott. Like, it don't matter who's in the game back there; they all produce. Mm-hmm. So it's just, and then you got Goddard at tight end. Like, you got weapons all around. This is, I hate the Eagles, but this is what the Eagles are known for. Is they get solid defense and they got playmakers all around on offense. Like, and I don't know.
Honestly, since we've been around.
Yeah, I don't know what their schedule looks like going forward, but I gotta assume it's gonna be hard to find a loss in there right now.
Yeah, we'll talk about it later. It's hard to find a loss right now. I'll tell you that. Next game. Are we gonna say what's the game of the day? Seattle at Detroit. 48-45. Holy shit!
It would have to be you.
Geno Smith is the man amongst boys out there.
Was he top 10 in passing yards?
He's blowing Russ out the water right now. I mean, Detroit has a great offense. 35 points a game, I think you said before.
Yeah, 35. Yeah.
They probably give up more on defense. They have some serious questions on that side.
If you somehow are able to shore up that defense and not be so leaky, like.
You were right there against the Eagles.
Detroit can be a team to watch out for.
Yes.
So
you have a lot of time to figure it out. You don't need to be shutting people out, but you need to get that down to about 20, 23.
Oh, for sure. If you're letting up, you know, anywhere from
you don't have to score 35. You can drop that down.
No, but if you, I'm not gonna stop you from scoring 35 though. Like,
nope.
They're, I mean,
wait till I get Jameson back.
They are so. It was kind of like my dad was saying on Sunday. He was saying, you know, he's at the point where, you know, the Lions have been such a bad cellar dweller team for so long that he hopes that they can, like, do well. Mm-hmm. Because he and I was like, well, I kind of feel the same way because I've never had a hatred for the Lions, even though they're in our division. It's always Green Bay or the Bears that we hate. The Lions, like, they just kind of been there.
You hate the teams that kick you in the teeth.
So, you know, I've never had that bitter rivalry feeling with the Lions, even though they're technically a rival. When I watch them play a different team than us, like, I have no problem, like, rooting for them.
Right.
But I think, you know, and that it's exciting. For all their fans should be very excited right now where they're at, because you found a great freaking coach, a guy who is a culture change, like, can change that culture in no time.
Mm-hmm.
You got a bunch of players. You might not have top tier players all around, but you guys got players who are playing their tail off every single play.
Right.
And that goes a long way in the NFL, because if you got a team, you know, a team full of players who are going to go to bat for your coach, play their tail off every single play. I mean, I'd rather have that than a super team. You know what I'm saying? Like, with these super teams, you're going to have people butting heads, egos flying around. But this is just a team that it's almost feels like the Lions have just been like a college team that's been recruited. Like,
it almost feels that way, yeah.
You know, so it's an exciting time for them. You know, they're a team that arguably should be 4-0.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, they're like I said, they're a team that's going to be in every single game, fighting to the end. And they're going to, you know, I think they should win more games than they lose the way they've been playing. It's just you got to shore up some stuff on the defensive side of the ball. If you do that, I mean, this team, there's plenty of time left where they have a good winning record.
They're there. You mentioned you've gotten a lot of your picks wrong, but you did mention Seattle was going to have about 5 or 6 of those W's. I don't know. You think this team's going to make the playoffs? Geno's playing like, I don't have his numbers on hand, but him, Rashad Penny, DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, I mean, they're playing really good this year.
I don't have them making the playoffs, but they could be one of those teams where it comes down to the final
They're spoiling some
weeks
teams.
where
Seasons.
that, or they're in the playoff hunt and they, you know, 3 weeks left, they get kicked out.
Actually, yeah, one of those 7 and 9 teams.
Yeah.
I can make it mathematically to 0.2% type shit.
Yeah.
Chicago at New York. Giants, that is. 12-20. Justin Fields struggles. Daniel Jones goes down. Our boy Tyrod Taylor goes in. 3 passes, 1 pick. He gets concussed. He's no longer my boy.
I'm not laughing about him getting concussed, but I'm just laughing at the scenario. It's just fucking insane. Like,
Man.
and you know, Daniel Jones got benched, bro. Like, this man got benched.
That's tough. I mean, Saquon's all this team's gonna have, man. And he played well this game, 140
And I heard
yards or
OBJ went back for a visit the
I
other
heard
day.
that too.
That's interesting.
Very interesting.
But I thought, you know, I didn't have any.
I didn't have my eyes on this game. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I didn't have any desire to watch it. I will say the Giants they're definitely the better team than the Bears. I mean, the Bears, I'm not going to talk a whole lot of shit because we played them this week. And
Unbelievable. Bears are 2-2. They're by far the worst team in the league.
They're terrible.
By far the worst team in the league.
Oh my God. If the Vikings win by 3 points this week, we're going to have a problem.
You win by 8. It's like 24-16.
That's too close still.
It'll be an ugly game.
It's too close still. But I mean, like I get that Justin Fields doesn't have weapons and a good offensive line.
It's not the first time we've seen it.
But you should be able to go out there and look like a starting quarterback. And you don't.
Yeah, I've tried to defend him for 3 weeks now. But
What is 11 for 22? That's awful.
It's Baker Mayfield stuff.
Like, I don't hate Justin Fields. I like him. I liked him coming out of college. I like watching him go. It's just he doesn't look like that natural NFL quarterback out there. He looks more of a guy who should be converted to tight end. He's that big. I just don't see something's got. I think that the Bears are in for a long stretch of terrible football. I don't see any. I mean, they got a new coach, they got a new GM.
You literally have to hit on every draft pick
To change that team.
and they hit on a lot of the late ones this year, but it's just 1 year's not going to do it. The team you have isn't going to do it. The coach you have probably isn't going to do it.
And I mean, I wouldn't feel confident going to this next offseason with free agent signings because you guys didn't go out and sign anyone this year.
If you thought receivers didn't want to go to Baltimore, they damn sure don't want to go to Chicago.
It's I don't know. I would feel bad being a Bears fan. Like that's got to be tough. That's got to be tough. I mean, granted, you're 2-2.
Yeah.
That's looking at the bright side of things. But this is a 17-game schedule, and you're not going to be 500.
If the Bears are 5, we need to make a bet. If the Bears are 500, I'll shake my head or something.
They just, what, when you look at the Bears, what do you think? I mean, if the Ravens were playing the Bears this week, what would you say would have to happen for them to beat you?
Same thing I say every week, and they are capable of it. Great defense, great run game.
They do play hard on defense, but
that keeps you in every game. And knowing our back end,
yeah, time of possession is a huge deal. I mean, if you can
Justin Fields can hit a dime to Mooney downfield
occasionally.
Yeah, give you 18-21 lead, 4 minutes left.
I don't know, man.
And we walk out there with shit in our fucking pants.
Listen, we played them this week.
If I lost to the Bears, I'd run in fucking traffic.
Oh God, you're putting that on me for this week. Great.
I mean, honestly, your season's over. Just get my extra jersey in the trash. Like,
let's move on. This is.
You're either done or you're like, wow, we're winning 13 in a row now because we just lost to the Bears. I'm embarrassed. There's two ways that goes.
Yeah.
Divisional game, we have Washington at America's team, taking the L 10-25. If it ain't the Bears, it might be Washington as the worst team in the league. Houston's in the conversation as well, but definitely some bottom dwellers. Dallas 3-0 with Cooper Rush at the quarterback. You know, they talked about Dak maybe coming back for this game, but funny after the game, Jerry Jones says he can't pick up the football yet. So looks like we're going to see Cooper Rush in week 5. Maybe in week 6, which honestly, as long as he keeps winning, kind of like the Brissett situation,
it's the best,
keep him in there.
Yeah, it's the best bet for the Cowboys right now.
Yes, indeed.
He just seems to have more chemistry and rapport with those guys over on the offensive side than compared to Dak. I mean, I don't know. The I hate that the Cowboys are winning.
Man, it's because you sat right there.
I know. I said stick a fork in them. That's shame on me, I guess. But
shame on me.
I did have, I think, Washington upsetting them this week, but I picked this game to be a once, big game.
You did? Fucking bum. Wentz fucking sucks. Bro.
He's terrible.
Is this the quarterback that's hurt, Sam Howell, or is it the Carolina quarterback? Did they draft a quarterback, Panthers?
Yeah.
They drafted who? Because they got Sam Howell from North Carolina in Washington in like the 5th.
Oh, wait. No. Carolina didn't have it.
Okay, I don't remember.
I was thinking of Sam Howell.
Okay.
But he's with Washington.
Okay. So I think he got hurt, and he's done for, I can't remember, it was so long ago. But I would like to see him play this year because I didn't have any expectations for this Washington team.
No.
And if you're going to draft a young quarterback similar to the Ritter situation, if you're not going to be in contention, get the guy out there, especially, not the worst situation with the weapons you have.
Going forward, though,
going
forward, who's going to want to sign Wentz?
That's probably it. He's going to have to go about 8-9 for a team to want to sign him.
And
7-10.
That ain't happening. Because
this ain't a team where it's like the Chicago Bears. They have talent. They're missing Chase Young. They have questions on defense, but as far as the offense goes, as far as your capabilities go, 10 points is unacceptable.
In a division game.
Philly sacked you 9 times. I mean, Dallas got after you too.
I don't know.
It's just bad. Ron Rivera's on the hot seat.
It's good. This division is gonna be coming down to either Dallas or Philly, and I got Philly blowing Dallas out of the water all day long. Call me crazy, but
I just watch your tongue.
Call me crazy, but I'll tell you one thing. I'm gonna root for. I hate the Eagles, but I'll root for the Eagles over the Cowboys any day. I can't stand Jerry Jones. I can't stand the Cowboys. Skip Bayless, don't like him. Like, you think the Vikings fans are bad?
Yeah, but I know Dallas is. I mean, it's just bigger.
Shoot, man, I can't wait till we play the Dallas Cowboys
this year.
Yeah.
Okay, you played last year too, didn't you?
Yeah, Cooper Rush beat us.
Another divisional game. You have Tennessee at Indy. Tennessee gets the dub. They're now 2-2 after an 0-2 start. They win the game 24-17. Derrick Henry seems like he's getting his legs back. Had a big game as Jonathan Taylor struggled on the other side. We mentioned before we got on here, Matt Ryan, over 300 pass yards. I think over 350 pass yards, but man, we're going to say it every week, aren't we? It just doesn't look good at all. The most meaningless,
their whole team,
yards.
That whole team doesn't look good. Like, I have no confidence. I mean, you just get Shaq Leonard back, concussed. And he concussed and breaks his nose. that
says everything you need.
Exactly, it says everything you need to know about their season. Like, I don't want to talk about them, but
we don't have to.
The Titans.
They're running long.
The Titans. I picked them to win. I believe this game.
I mean, Tenn Ind was 17-21,
and he's that quarterback who he's average. Like, he'll win some and lose some, but he is good at, if he's got the right people, like players around him, he'll succeed more times than not. I mean, he's shown that getting them to the playoffs, winning that division.
Right.
So, I guess it kind of looks between Titans and Jaguars to fight it out for the division crown.
If it came down to something other than that, I'd be shocked.
Yeah.
And I'd probably end up going with Jacksonville, surprisingly.
I would put my money on Jacksonville.
A month ago, I wouldn't have said that at all. So, I don't know. Maybe I'm
I'm right
prisoner of the moment, but they just look better to the eye.
Yeah.
Next game. Arizona at Carolina. A battle of OU quarterbacks turned into some 0-0 football. Arizona wins 26-16 and probably the worst 2-2 team in the league outside of Chicago. Baker, man, if Darnold wasn't hurt, your job would be on the line. If PJ Washington was any good, you'd be out of here, man, because you don't look good at all. Bad offense on both sides. I mean, at the end of the day, Kyler Murray's numbers will look okay, but this is just not a fun game to watch.
I think both teams are bad.
At this point, I'm done with Carolina. I had faith in them coming into the season.
I had a little faith. I thought Baker was the right call, but he's proving to everyone why he was ran out of Cleveland. And it's clear that there's a lot of players, especially from Cleveland, who didn't like playing with you, think you're arrogant and cocky. And he went into Carolina thinking he was gonna show everyone that they were wrong. But this man is just, I mean, I never liked him coming out of OU. I thought he was going to be one of those Johnny Manziel kind of washed up, like, couldn't make it in the NFL type quarterbacks. And he's showing that he kind of is that way. Because he doesn't do anything really well out there.
He started okay for his career. I mean, the first year, obviously, shaky. The second year, you start, get your team to the playoffs. We think, okay, well, last year you get hurt. This year, I don't know what to say. You have the weapons. You have just as many weapons.
No excuses
that you have
when
here.
You have Njoku, Jarvis Landry, Higgins, OBJ. That's a loaded team. And then your running backs.
That's whole line.
Like, give me a break, dude.
You have just as many weapons in Carolina.
And OBJ wanted out of there because of you.
His dad put together low light tape of you.
Like, give me a break, dude. Like, Carolina and Matt Rule, go back to college.
Yeah, I know how you feel about him. It's a different game. College and NFL. We've seen. I mean, even Nick Saban.
He's like Matt Rule he's like a used car salesman. Talks well, nothing ever comes to fruition about it. Like he says what needs to happen, and everyone sees it, so he's saying what needs to happen to change things up. Nothing happens. It's the same old shit with him, and I don't know.
I'm gonna have to watch the game closely, see if it's the offense that he's running, or see if it's Baker himself. I'm gonna guess it's a little bit of both, and both guys will probably not have that job in Carolina next year. Another coach that's on the hot seat for sure. Next game, New England at Green Bay, taking the L 24-27, but Packers struggled early in this one. Rodgers threw a pick six, and they were down. I think he had about 50 yards at halftime, and it looked ugly, but did his thing, bounced back. Mason crossbar, another field goal in overtime as time expires to win the game. That's the kicker, right?
Matt Crosby, yep. I mean, it was a lot closer than I thought it was going to
For
be.
sure.
Like, I assumed the Packers were going to wipe the floor with them. But I think there's with the Packers, I just get this sense, like, I don't know why people are still kind of on the bandwagon of calling them the best in the NFC.
I feel like the Packers, how I felt about the Rams. Like, last week the Rams had a spread of 10.5, I think, against the Cardinals. Or whoever it was. And I'm like, they're not covering that. No way. This week, same thing. 10.5 spread against New England. They're not covering that. So I kind of felt like the Rams and the Packers are teams that people have put up here, but I have very little confidence in either of these teams going forward.
That's what I just get sick of and it's all because of Rodgers.
It is.
Granted, it should be, but at the end of the day, I'm still sick. I mean, I think Romeo Doubs had a crucial drop.
Yeah. Huge drop.
Watkins is injured like always. Christian Watson only touches the ball on sweeps.
I know, it's fucking however you used your players back in the day. Laquan Treadwell, Patterson, Percy.
Their defense is solid, but you can exploit it. The Patriots, I think, what I got from this game was I thought Belichick was out coaching LaFleur or whatever his name is.
Third string quarterback, and you have a chance to beat Aaron Rodgers.
And Bailey Zappi didn't look bad.
No, he didn't. That's partly on Belichick too, not putting him in position to look bad.
But I think if you have Mac Jones that game, I think you could possibly pull that off.
Yeah.
I think he would have done a little bit more to put you in a better position to win that game. But I mean, Packers are 3-1 now, and the Patriots they're gonna have question marks every week of the season.
Yeah, tough position to be in at 1-3, but I think they're a very good 1-3 team.
They're probably one of the best 1-3 teams. It's just a matter of I don't know how long Mac Jones is out for, but it's after what I saw on Sunday though. Like, I'm not too down on having Bailey Zappi play.
No.
For us in the meantime. It
hasn't really been too prominent, the development of quarterbacks in that organization, but if you take a guy like that who comes from a high-powered offense, translate him under the right coaching into the NFL game, you have a chance to have something, 20th ranked quarterback, 25th ranked quarterback in the league type shit. So,
and then it comes down to too is like the Patriots are obviously not as good as they used to be when it was the Tom Brady days, but that's what it comes down to. This is what coaching does. Like, when you have a roster that's not as well off as you had before with Brady and them, but Belichick still game plans and schemes terrifically, and he has his guys ready to go most of the time. The defense is usually always solid. It's just you're now in the age of having an offense where it's just not clicking on all cylinders like it usually does for you. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I look at this game and it was... The Patriots are going to be in a lot of games. The Packers, same with them. I don't see the Packers being a 13-14, but crazy stuff happens in this league. So, I mean, it's hard to predict right now what the end of the season is going to look like. Because obviously, players get better as weeks go along. you start clicking as a team more. I don't know. I wish the Patriots would have won. That's all I gotta say.
Another divisional game. We had Denver on the road at Las Vegas, who was in a must-win, coming into the week at 0-3, and they got that win, 23-32 over the Denver Broncos. Derek Carr, no touchdowns. Russell Wilson looked better, but lost another weapon. Williams out for the season. Tore his knee up, ACL and MCL, I believe.
Yeah.
So, without Javonte Williams going forward, given the fact that this offense already looks shaky.
And they just brought in Tavius Murray.
Time to panic in Denver.
Yeah,
Melvin Gordon and Latavius Murray. That's what our running back room looked like last year. Freeman and we might have had Murray last year.
You did have Murray last year.
Yeah, he actually played decent.
He's not bad. I mean,
but he was doing this last week. Sitting right here.
He scored a touchdown against us.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
Sheesh. Edit. Murray's been there all year?
He just, he got signed to the practice squad last week and got elevated.
Okay.
And then the Broncos today.
I remember seeing him.
The Broncos today just signed him off their practice squad.
Okay.
Yeah, the Broncos look bad. Like, I think a lot of it just has to do with the coach and the way he's handling the team. I mean, I'm not sold that Russell is, this bad. I mean, he's not the same old Russ, but he's not to this point yet.
Not yet.
So I think they made the worst choice in the head coach with Nathaniel Hackett. I think that's backfiring really quick on them. But, Raiders got the win they needed. I think this might hopefully, spring them forward to a few more wins coming up.
Yeah.
So, but it was a big division win, obviously. Get that one out of the way for them, and especially at home, he didn't want to lose that one, especially with everything being said about the Broncos. So, the Broncos, I don't know. I can't even tell you how many games they win. They look more like a 5-win team to me.
Yeah, we said it last week, and after losing that guy, who's your best offensive weapon, it's going to be tough, man. Even though we talked about the AFC maybe isn't as strong as we thought it was coming into the year.
No, but I mean,
still wide open, and you're
still clearly the weakest link in that division.
Yes, by far. Even though you don't have the worst record.
I don't see the Broncos winning a division game.
They can catch the Chargers with those injuries. I don't know when they play them, but that would be the only scenario
That's
I
the
see.
only. Yeah, they're the only. They're
It's
not
bad coaching against mediocre coaching.
I don't know. I think the Raiders will still have their number next game. They play them, but yeah, for me, if I had to guess, I'd say they don't win the division game.
I wish I could think of the meme I saw earlier. I was going to send it to you about the Raiders. It was like overdraft player, get hype in the offseason, start slow, player gets arrested, or some other shit.
Yeah.
I'll have to put it up here if I find it. Kansas City at Tampa Bay. Pretty good game. 41-31. Kansas City comes out on top, 3-1, getting the bounce back W after the Colts loss in week 3.
Yeah.
Tom Brady, 2 L's in a row, but the receivers are coming back healthy a little bit now, so they'll get into more of a groove. You mentioned before this, what was the stat on Tom Brady not losing 3 in a row?
He hasn't lost 3 in a row. He hasn't lost 3 in a row since 2002.
That's probably like his, second, third year?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. And we'll get into it later who they play, but I don't expect them to lose 3 in a row.
No, I don't either. They'll get back on track, and
This game, you just can't do anything with Mahomes.
He had a great game.
Magic. Sometimes it just doesn't.
They looked. The Chiefs this game looked like
to put a 41
Super Bowl team
against this Bucs defense was impressive.
They looked like a Super Bowl team.
Yes, indeed.
For the Bucs though, we've seen many years like this. I think with Tom, where he's had a shaky start the first month, but then he rallies these guys and they go on a big run, and they're double-digit wins at the end of the season and making noise in the playoffs. So I'm not gonna worry about the Buccaneers right now.
No,
especially a loss to a good Chiefs team. and you're dealing with injuries on your side. So I mean, it is what it is. You're in the NFC, which is a plus. So
Brady had a 300+ yard game. Defense, we know won't play like this every week.
yeah,
You're not gonna face another quarterback like this probably. I don't know what your schedule is unless you play Josh Allen.
no, they do play Aaron Rodgers, I think, at some
Okay,
point.
so that's it. But their schedule is pretty light. We looked at it before the season, so not something I'm worried about. This team's gonna get healthy at the right time, and I mean you got that guy over there at quarterback, so
Right, yeah.
kind of out.
Yeah.
Last game of Week 4, we have LA at San Fran taking the L. What was it, 9-24?
Yep.
Jimmy Garoppolo, man, he does not lose to the Rams in the regular season.
Man, I tell you, this is what I said. Like, I don't think they win that game if they have Trey Lance playing. Because I think that the 49ers have two totally different offensive, philosophies or systems in place when there's Trey and then when there's Jimmy. We know what Jimmy's capable of doing with that offense and how Shanahan likes to use him in that offense. They seem to be a more well-balanced attack across the board when he's playing quarterback for them compared to where Lance is. I mean, we've had a little glimpse with Lance, obviously, but it's just been more so. I mean, he's running the ball a lot more than Jimmy is, obviously. So I'd say he's less accurate than Jimmy is with the ball. Their running game as a whole wasn't doing as well with Trey Lance.
Even though he's a running quarterback.
Right. He just, and when you watch him run, he just doesn't, it's almost like it's not a comfortable thing for him to do. And I don't know what the reason is for that or if that's just my eyes seeing things, but I just think, I've said it from the jump, I just think that the 49ers are better off with Jimmy G as their quarterback. And they can do a lot better than Trey Lance if, as a long-term starter going forward. So I don't, they're obviously going to hand the keys over next year to Trey Lance. What that looks like, I don't know. But I wouldn't have too much confidence in it.
Justin Fields, maybe. Carson Wentz, maybe.
Shoot.
If I told you that Matthew Stafford threw more touchdowns to the 49ers than Jimmy Garoppolo in the times they played against each other, would you believe it?
No.
No, it's not true. But I feel like every time they play, he throws a pick six. And he did yesterday.
Stafford?
Forcing it to Cooper Kupp.
I don't know, man. The Rams just kind of... People, I know you say you don't believe in the Super Bowl hangover, but that shit to me is real because, you're coming off of the highest of highs winning that ultimate game. You're trying to run it back with that pretty much the same team. There's always hiccups in that next year. Because they fired on all cylinders last year. And who knows, I don't know how much big of a deal the elbow thing is with Stafford.
Yeah, I was just going to say that.
I wonder, how that's bugging him or, how that's working out. But he's obviously playing through some discomfort. So,
which he's done his whole career, but at
this
point...
he's Iron Man.
Shit. How many years I've been in this joint? 13 years?
Yeah, I would say, but that's between them and the Niners, though, I would say, and they played in San Francisco as well. I think they'll beat the 49ers next time in LA. That would be my guess. I think that's a divisional split for them.
Okay.
So, but I mean, some of these games though, it's so early in the season, still 4 weeks, and I couldn't tell you a better prediction for for playoffs and whatnot than I could a few months ago when we did this.
Yeah. I couldn't either. You want to get right into week 5 or you need a little break?
Whatever you want to do.
Sure, cool.
All right.
Moving on to our week 5 preview. Our first game, Thursday Night Football. We have the Colts at 1-2-1 on the road to face the Denver Broncos. Russell and Bustle, our favorite team to watch at 2-2. This is going to be a game where, it's not going to be entertaining by any means.
No.
But I think it will end up being a close game at the end. I don't think either one of these teams has the capability to run away from the other unless Jonathan Taylor literally does that and runs away from the Broncos and, has 200 yards and 3 touchdowns. Teams that struggle on offense, teams that struggle on defense, although Denver seems to be playing better lately, even though they took a big L to Las Vegas. Their defense seems to be playing okay. Indy just has a whole bunch of questions, and I don't know if they have answers to those questions out there. And I'm going to have to go ahead and pick Denver for this one.
For me,
even with the injuries, man. Thursday Night Football, I go with the home team typically.
I'm going to shake it up. I'm going with the Colts in this one. I think
I do like it.
I just don't trust Nathaniel Hackett for the life of me. I trust Frank Reich more getting his team ready and prepared to beat the Broncos.
That's fair.
So
my reason is typically coach quarterback.
Yeah.
I'm split on this one. I'll go quarterback over coach.
Right, and I do like Russell over Matt Ryan, but I think I like the overall talent with the Colts more so than I do the Broncos right now. And I feel like Nathaniel Hackett makes too many questionable calls and dumb decisions to make me confident in them, even though this game has the outlook of being very ugly.
No Darius Leonard, and if the Colts just do not have one competent receiver right now, so Denver is probably going to be my least favorite pick all week.
Which is fair, but I could see Jonathan Taylor
bounce back
in a big way.
Mm-hmm. London for the second week in a row. What do you think they serve at concession stands?
I don't know.
Not hot dogs and nachos.
I have no idea.
Let us know in the comments. New York Jets, surprisingly, the Giants 3-1, surprisingly, at Green Bay, if you want to say it that way, 3-1 as well. I'm gonna make this one nice and quick. Go Pack, go.
Yeah, the Packers are gonna take this one. I mean, I'm always gonna hope the other team beats the Packers, but they're the more talented team for sure. Aaron Rodgers, Daniel Jones, and who knows if he's got to play, right?
What happened to him? I thought he got hurt his ankle or something.
Maybe he did. Oh, maybe that's what it was. He didn't get benched. I thought he got benched, but now I think of it, I did watch him have to go out there and line up as a receiver, and he could barely move.
Oh, really?
So, because after Tyrod went out, they did Wildcat with Saquon.
Oh no. What's the spread? I'm gonna have to put money. See, Green Bay's
favored by 8.5.
I don't even know if they can cover that. Their offense is so shaky right now.
But I got Packers. To me, that's the easiest.
That's light work. Pittsburgh 1-3. Kenny Pickett, first start in the league. Sorry, brother. You're at Buffalo. 3-1.
This is another one that's easy. I think Buffalo's gonna come back, and they know they probably didn't play their best last week. I think that they come back and they're gonna welcome the rookie to the NFL. Put it that way.
You would figure against the Jets, you go on the game, you're like, okay, it's the Jets. They're on the up and coming, but whatever. 3 picks can't do well for your confidence. Now, play the Buffalo Bills the week after that.
Yep.
We talked about their schedule last week. I don't know, man. Hopefully this guy's made it the right stuff. I don't feel too confident for him. Chargers 2-2 at Cleveland 2-2. Teams where the records may not reflect the team, but here we are, 500. This is a tough game to call for me.
You know what? Go ahead.
You go ahead.
For me, I'm going with the Browns. They're at home. I just don't see the Chargers playing well in Cleveland. I feel like this is a game that, Cleveland does enough to keep the Chargers offense off the field long enough.
No.
It's going to happen.
Yep. Chargers going to be 2-3, and it might be time to panic in LA after this one. Because Cleveland, I think, is going to win this game fairly easy. I mean, the weapons for the Chargers can be handled pretty well by this Cleveland defense. They have good defensive backs, good safeties, good D-line, solid linebackers. So I don't expect Eckler to go off. Keenan Allen, if he comes back, is going to be hobbled a little bit. Mike Williams isn't a speed guy. Jalen Guyton's out. So I'm going to have to go Cleveland this game as well. Next game we have Detroit 1-3 at New England.
Yeah.
1-3. This one's gonna be interesting. I think we're gonna see Zappy. I think Hoyer went out with a concussion as well, possibly, or I don't know what his injury was, but I'm assuming we're gonna see Zappy, third string quarterback for the Patriots, against this high flying offense of Detroit. But we know where Zappy went to college, and they put up a lot of points out there. Are we gonna expect another game in the 40s?
This one's hard for me.
I got Detroit.
But see, oh man, I just don't see Detroit going into Foxborough and playing well. So I think this is going to be a comeback to earth game for the Lions on offense.
Okay.
And Bill Belichick finds a way to win this game.
I understand the logic behind that. It's a tough place to play. With the third string quarterback, assuming, I mean, we're probably not going in with the same mindset. This isn't time. It's not
as Bill Belichick.
It is Bill though.
I'm telling Bailey Zappi, like, I have all the confidence in the world in you this week because Detroit's giving up damn near 40 points per game.
Just get us 24. I'm the mastermind. I can hold them down.
Yeah, like,
give me 24.
I think I'd like to pick the Lions. It's just something in me I can't right now. And I feel bad that they're going to be 1-4 from my pick, but I won't be surprised if they do go in there and win because, you know, they're high-flying offense.
I remember we said before the season, the start of this Lions schedule is tough. Being 1-3 right now, when you could be the opposite, is tough. I do think this team will bounce back eventually. Might start right here. I agree with your logic, like I said. Bill Belichick, another guy I don't like betting against. And with the young coach going on the road into that stadium is always tough. Weather ain't going to be too bad, though. And Patriots have a good defense like they always do. But Jared Goff might get this one slightly.
So you got the Lions?
Yeah. It's not going to be a blowout by any means.
All right.
Seattle, 2-2 at New Orleans, 1-3. I don't know who the quarterback is for the Saints this game, but I know who the quarterback is for the Seahawks. And it's the Mean Gene Fighting Machine, man. Geno Smith, I got Seattle going 3-2. I ain't right back, though.
I got the Saints.
That's going to be my slogan. That shit hit me up. I ain't right back, though.
Oh, man.
You got the Saints, bro?
Yeah, I got the Saints. They're at home.
They played well last week.
I think they got a bad taste in their mouth coming home from London. Yeah, I still don't trust Geno all that well. Granted.
You know, I really against this defense. Now I look at it. So I don't really either against this defense now that I look at it, but I already put it on the paper.
Yeah, so, I'll take the Saints against the Seahawks this week.
At this point, I don't trust Jameis or Dalton either.
No, I don't either. But I just know Geno makes some mistakes that...
He does.
And it's just some games he has accuracy.
And the Saints defense is just tricky, man. They get you. Tennessee 2-2 at Washington 1-3. Ron Rivera probably on the hot seat. They came out shit the bed in those black uniforms, and it's against the law to play bad in black uniforms.
Yep.
So I'm gonna go ahead and get you guys out of here at 1-4. Carson Wentz, I don't believe in you anymore. I'm sorry, but you're even more sorry. Tannehill is gonna outplay you in this game, and you should be ashamed of your fucking redhead self.
Yeah, I think the Titans will get this one as well. I think Derrick Henry's gonna have a big game. So I don't know. Washington. You said everything I have to say about Washington. Like,
get back soon, Chase Young, please. We have some division games coming up here. Chicago 2-2
Minnesota
at Vikings. We're just gonna keep it light. We're not gonna jinx this one.
Nope.
All right. Well, what I have to say about this, no, I'm just playing. Atlanta 2-2 at Tampa Bay 2-2.
Who do you got? Chicago?
No. Jesus Christ, man. I got Chicago winning 0 more games for the rest of the year.
0 more games. That's fair enough. Next game?
Atlanta at Tampa Bay. Both teams 2-2.
Ooh.
Atlanta coming off a dub. Tampa doing the opposite.
I got Tampa coming out top this one. I think this should be a breakout game for Tampa.
Great week to catch Atlanta with no Patterson.
Mm-hmm.
2 weeks, 2 L's.
Russell,
terrible week to catch.
Russell
Tampa
Gage
Bay,
revenge game.
Yeah. I didn't even think about that. Look at you. He kind of been underwhelming. He's
he will,
especially with all the guys they've had out. I mean, he's been in and out too, but I don't know. Like I said, these guys are getting their receivers back, and I'm not worried about Tampa at all.
No.
Miami 3-1 at the Jets 2-2. Nah, no Tua. Teddy time. Teddy two gloves.
Give me the Jets.
Jets. Woo. You sure?
Yes, I am. They're at home, right?
Yeah, at home.
I like them at home.
Okay, you got the Jets at home. You trust Zach Wilson?
I think this is your...
Is it because your nickname used to be TJ?
No. This is what I'm saying, like...
Is that why you like J Jetta so much?
God damn. No, I just like Jets in this one. I think, without Tua, they'll still have, plenty of opportunity to score the ball, getting it to Tyreek and Jalen, whatever, but I just think that Robert Saleh is going to have a trick up his sleeve with that defense this week. They're going to play hard, and they're going to shut them down, I think. I think Sauce Gardner is going to take Tyreek, shut him down.
We'll see. Is he capable? I don't know.
This is a big test for him.
It is.
So I'm gonna roll my dice with the Jets this week. I just, like I said, I don't have the. Not saying Teddy's a bad quarterback. I like Teddy, but
I'm not confident in my Dolphins pick for that reason. But he gets to start for his hometown team, Miami. Mm-hmm. Hopefully, he gets the division game on.
If it was in Miami, I'd probably lean that way. But since it's in New York, I just think you get. It's not that it's cold weather yet, but you get these teams from down south that go to the Northeast or Midwest or whatever, and they look out of their comfort zone. Mm-hmm. So that's why I'm rolling with the Jets in this one.
Our last divisional game before we get to the afternoon games, we have Houston, winless, 0-3-1 at Jacksonville, 2-2. Easy work.
Jacksonville.
Yeah. I'm going to have to look at Houston's schedule, come back next week, see if I see any W's in their future.
Yeah, it's looking bleak.
Yeah, we'll let you guys know. Afternoon games, San Francisco coming off their, Monday night win against the Rams, 2-2. On the road, facing your boy, Baker Mayfield, and the Panthers, 1-3.
Yeah, I got the Niners in this one.
Why? Because this game and that Thursday night game might be the two worst of the weekend.
Niners?
Yeah.
Look, it's still the Niners with Jimmy G. They've been to the big dance. They've been to the NFC Championship. Tell me what Baker's done.
I give up on Baker. I just wanted to know.
No, I just don't.
It's offense still. San Fran's offense doesn't have anything but Debo.
No, but they get they get the ball in guys' hands and that do the job. I mean, Jeff Wilson had a solid game last
year.
game.
Yeah, he played okay.
But Brandon Ayuk, he's still solid.
He'll
have one of those breakout games. George Kittle, solid tight end.
Well, Jimmy's twice the quarterback Baker is, so I agree with you, Sam.
They're just at this point in the season, I don't see Carolina doing anything against a lot of teams.
Baker can't throw for 200 yards. I don't understand how.
And the fact that you're still starting because Darnold is still hurt. They've clearly said, if Darnold was not hurt, we would be looking at pulling the plug on Baker.
Yeah.
So, your season's done, Carolina.
Who gets the job first, Baker or Carson?
I gotta think Baker.
Youth?
I would assume so. I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. I kind of like Wentz more than Baker.
I do too, just probably because of the stature. And his ceiling's higher.
And he's more accurate. Not by much, but I mean...
I wasn't agreeing or just...
I think he's... I wouldn't say by much. I wouldn't say by much, but he definitely has a better long ball. And, I don't know. Baker looks like a child out there running an offense.
Yeah, it doesn't look good at all. Can't feel good if you're a Carolina fan. Dallas, 3-1 on the road at the Rams, 2-2. We just took an L last night to San Fran, looking to bounce back. I think they will. Not. Dallas is going to take this game 4-1. Cooper Rush, MVP, baby.
Cooper gets his first loss this week.
You think so?
Yeah.
Sheesh, why?
I just think the Rams, I mean, they still got that same team from last year. Not saying that means a whole lot, but shoot, I just think there's too many.
Diggs looks like the best DB in the league so far. You put him on Cooper Kupp, what the fuck are the Rams going to do? Run the ball? No.
Well, they're both going to be 3-2 after this week. That's all I got to say.
You just want that to happen. Dallas going to fuck around with 14-3 because you hate them so much. Now, we have Philly at Arizona. Battle of the Birds, Dirty Birds. 4-0 at 2-2. I want to get into this Philly schedule if you can pull it up right now.
Yeah, we'll pull it up.
While we talk about this.
Well, I'll tell you right now, I got Philly winning this game.
Yeah, this is easy work. Arizona's one of my least favorite teams I've ever watched play football. Philly doesn't look like they have a weakness. So I'm going to have to go Fly, Eagles Fly. Pull up my McNabb jersey I had back when I was in middle school, see if it still fits.
So
yeah, let's run through that schedule real quick.
You started off with at Arizona.
Mm-hmm. You think that's a win, right?
They'll win that one, yeah. And then you are at home Sunday Night Football against the Cowboys.
That's challenging.
But I think you'll
win
that
that
one. Then a bye week. And then you're at home against Pittsburgh.
Okay. Battle of Pennsylvania, you win that one.
And then you're at Houston.
Easy work.
Then you're at home versus Washington.
Easy work.
And then you're at Indianapolis.
Easy work.
Then you're home versus the Packers.
Challenging.
And you're home versus the Titans.
They got both those games home, Packers and Cowboys. Home versus Titans, they should win that one.
At Giants.
They should win that one, but not going to be as easy as you think it would be.
At Chicago Bears. But think about it. That's a December 18th game. I mean, they both are cold weather teams, but playing in Soldier Field is very tough in the winter. So
it is.
That could be a huge upset that week.
Okay.
Then you're at Dallas on Christmas Eve.
I just want it on the record that you just said the worst team in football could be the best team in football.
I'm not saying. I'm saying it could. I'm saying
a little chilly.
No, I'm not saying. I'm just saying Soldier Field is a tough place to play.
That's all. Nobody shows up.
So it's not gonna be sold out.
Shit.
No, I think Philly. They won't have a problem winning that game. Honestly.
All right. After Chicago.
At Cowboys. Christmas Eve.
Okay, those will both be tough games.
Then you're home versus Saints.
Okay, probably won't be that tough at that time, but the defense is good.
Then you're home versus the Giants.
You got 4 kind of tough games.
If you stay healthy,
you know what I'm saying? Those are kind of tough.
Let's say they split with the Cowboys.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And just lose to the Packers or something.
Don't tell me they're going to be 15-2, bro.
What's that tell you? I'm not telling you anything. This is just an exercise.
If I had to guess right now, I'll say they'll lose 3 games.
Split with Dallas. Packers. Saints.
No. I look at that. The Saints are on New Year's Day in Philly. Saints being an indoor team, no. I just don't see the Saints going into Philly and beat that. Philly is probably one of the toughest places to play with their crowd.
Oh yeah, for sure. Especially when they're winning.
I would maybe say the Packers, but I don't want that to happen. Titans could be a potential upset. I don't know. Other than that, I don't know. This schedule looks fucking gross.
Bunzos. That's what I'm saying. It's a chance.
Right now, if I had to guess, they'd be the number 1 seed in the NFC.
Nobody's even close to them right now in the NFC. Who would the second seed be? Tampa?
As of right now, it's us.
I guess.
And then it's Tampa.
Okay.
And I think 7th is Packers, 6th is Giants.
So you would play Packers first round?
4th and 5th is Niners and Cowboys.
I hope you play the Packers and the Cowboys in the playoffs. But that means you win a game. Take it or leave it.
No, those would both be wins. NFC Championship. Here we come.
Revenge game against Philly.
Man, that would fucking suck, dude. We.
38-7
don't tell
again.
me that, bro.
I love it. I love football. Sunday night football. Cincinnati 2-2 at Baltimore 2-2.
They started off, bro.
I picked against them last week. I'm not gonna do it again. Baltimore, we're bouncing back. We should be 4-0. I don't like saying woulda, coulda, shoulda. It's what did you do? And we gonna did them motherfucking Bengals in on Sunday. We gonna did the do on the Bengals.
Yeah. I mean, based on what I've seen this season, I gotta go Ravens. I just think that you guys look like the better team. I'm still kind of questionable on the Bengals O-line and just them being consistent. So and
Their chemistry doesn't look good.
Lamar is looking unstoppable. So I don't think Bengals might have an answer for that.
It's tough to say MVP after that last game, but going into week 4, just hands down, he was my MVP.
Yeah.
It's a week by week award. He's still top 3. Him, Hurts, I don't know, Mahomes, Allen, probably your 4, whatever order you want.
Same old.
Yeah. You know. Last game, Monday Night Football. We just mentioned them. Hosting the Vegas Raiders. Chiefs at 3-1. Raiders 1-3. Easy work. And time to panic in Vegas. Season isn't that long.
No, I mean I got the
17
Chiefs.
games.
I got the Chiefs,
1-4
but
is ugly.
I think it's gonna be closer than people think. I think because the Raiders, the past year or so, the Raiders have given them a pretty good fight.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I'm not sold on the Chiefs being this unstoppable team. So,
No.
I think the Raiders are gonna throw some things at them that they haven't seen. So, especially with McDaniels being a new coach. And he's still gonna account for Devontae Adams. I mean, he's yet to put up that huge monster game. Not saying he's going to this week, but
No, you have to account for them. Those weapons are still there. They got new coach. It's going to take time to get acclimated. This isn't the game that they're
if I had
going
to
to do.
guess, I would pick this being like
28-24.
I was gonna say 31-27.
4-point game, yeah. It's not going to be a blowout.
Yeah.
Raiders are good. They're respectable. They shouldn't be 1-3. Their team with a record doesn't really indicate
Right.
what this team should be. I mean, we haven't really seen a lot of success out of Josh McDaniels as a head coach.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen him flake on one team, but he was able to win with Tebow the other time. So do with that information what you may. Derek Carr is definitely a better quarterback than Tim Tebow. You have just as good weapons on offense. Your defense is a lot more shaky. Your offensive line is a lot more shaky, but you really don't have excuses to not be in this game and, in playoff contention for the rest of the season. You will drop 1-4, which is a tough hole to climb out of.
Mm-hmm.
But you've been right there in every game so far this season. So
Yeah.
just put it together after that first month of the season. If you can't do it after that, then you start to panic.
All right.
Anything else?
No, I'm pretty set on our picks, so.
Yep, I'm getting hot as hell. Like we say, until next time.
Until next time.
We got these joints documented now, man, so. Until next time.
Until next time.